I'm ready for
All
you.
right, let's see. Oh, that's right. I don't like this because this new setup sucks because it doesn't let me pull up everything I want.
Your,
Uh,
your setup doesn't suck. It's
but
glorious.
it's okay
Is
because
there a fan?
there is a fan on. I'm sorry, I get hot. This is we are live
No, I
though.
get it.
Yeah, we're here. We are gonna talk
Great.
to the people.
I can't wait to talk to the people. Anthony, this is Love and Chokes podcast.
This is.
This is episode 2.
It's a good
I
point.
think it's 263. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the number is. It doesn't matter what the number is.
It
What
matters.
matters is that you and I are across one another once again.
Yes.
You're in Cleveland. I'm in Vegas. I'm also in fight week. The world is in turmoil. I give a fuck and I don't give a fuck. You know what I give a fuck about the most?
Fighting.
I give a fuck about Jessica I getting this job done on Saturday night and getting one step closer to getting that UFC title wrapped around her very, very capable waist. That's what I think about almost every day, all day. I don't let the world seep into my mind because if I did, perhaps I wouldn't be able to help my friend reach her fucking goals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there are those that would disagree. There are those who are like, Darren, I haven't heard your opinion on this matter. And I'm like, bitch, you don't listen to my podcast. You just told me. Then I'm like, second, like, why the fuck do you care what my opinion is on this?
Solidarity.
Did you ask me about arm bars and mount escapes? Those are my specialties. Ask me about the omoplata. These are the things that I know about. You want to know my take on this? Why? Because I'm black? Is it racist for me to think that, or is it racist for you to ask me? Like, who knows? Who knows anymore? And that's why I'm fucking sick of all this shit. I'm sick of it, Anthony. But you know what? We haven't really talked about it, honestly.
No, we haven't.
And so that means I'm not sick of it just yet. So let's have Love and Chokes official race relations conversation. Race relations conversations with young Anthony. Put that shit in the description, yeah?
Race relation conversation.
Put that shit in. Race relation conversation, if you will. What it's like being a Negro in America in 2020, in a land of COVID, in a land of police brutality, in a land of snowflake reactions to police brutality. And then we can talk about whether or not we are seeing things progress in rates where, like, is the COVID crisis very similar to police brutality? Is it?
I don't think so, but I think it exacerbated it.
Is it?
Exacerbated it.
I think here's what I'm thinking.
What are you trying to say?
These are both very serious fucking problems
Yes.
for a few people. And everybody wants everybody to act differently. But really, we're talking about a very small group of people. We're talking about the exception and not the rule in both cases, in my opinion. They have that shit in common. That the entire world stopped. Our fucking national economy went to a standstill practically, unless you were ordering shit online. People lost their jobs. People will continue to lose their jobs. And almost everybody was staying home.
Yeah.
Why? Why exactly? Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't have, but I'm saying why. Why is because
the potential.
A small amount of people really might have died. And even if it's a lot, because, like, when we're talking about the numbers that we're talking about, we can't act like 100,000 cases of sickness is a small number, but it is. If you look at the percentage, if you're looking at it as a whole, if I look at this as individuals, then one case of serious illness to the point of death is too many cases of illness that lead to serious death. One case of police brutality is one case. Way too fucking many. That is not lost on me. That's not lost on me. But I have to balance these ideas with the fucking percentage. And the percentage tells me something too. The percentage tells me if this is like a pattern or if this is an incident. And I can't take other patterns, link them to this incident, and then say, fix this major problem because I saw this incident and it affects my fucking feelings. You can't do that. You can't fix racism in America because some asshole kneeled on a person without compassion for them like a human being. You can't even necessarily say that's an entirely racist act. You can say race has a factor, but that's just indifference for someone else's fucking condition. Race exacerbated it, possibly. And you're still talking about a fucking individual kneeling on another individual and saying that that is a symptom of this is racism in America. That was racism in the heart of some fucking idiot cop. That's what that is. But now, since we all had to watch that image because of news and social media, now everybody wants to hold everybody else's racism accountable today. Well, that guy did this, so now you got to get right. Lawmakers got to get right, and we're going to tell you what right is. You're not going to fix racism when you feel like it because some fucking asshole did something. Racism will still exist in your fucking heart. It's just the way it is. What we do about it, how we treat that fucking sickness is something, but the existence of this sickness, it's not going to go away, dummies. Some naive bullshit. It's the kind of shit they teach in liberal arts colleges, to be honest. I used to work at one for a long time. The same people that think that like we have to fix this fucking problem are the same people who are telling you that like gender neutral bathrooms are the norm. They're not. They are not. I'm sorry that your sensitive feelings got fucking broken open when you saw an awful thing. But some of us see awful things all the time. Some of us have grown up around awful things. You fix those things in your own heart. It's fucking ridiculous, honestly. That like, and then it's like, well then, when you make it about this individual, and this is the other fucking risky thing. When you say, okay, I know I'm ranting here, but I'm gonna get it off. When you make it about the individual, then you also open up the other side, quote unquote, other side's fucking opportunity to counter by saying who that individual was. So if I say, hey, this is about justice for this guy, so you're trying to humanize it. You're trying to humanize him. Then I can be like, well, what kind of human was he? And if I can set markers that he can't meet, I can change the way that other people see that argument. Whether they want to change the way they feel or not, they will. It's a dangerous thing. The whole fucking thing sucks, honestly, all around. I don't like any of it. I don't like the I support police talk, because you shouldn't have to say that. I don't like I support black people, because you shouldn't have to fucking say that. There shouldn't be separate ideas either. They shouldn't be separate fucking ideas. How are they in opposition of one another? And then, if you use some of the language, if you say Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter, then you're also now playing into the hand of these two sides who you may have nothing to fucking do with. It's fucking slippery, man. And it's been bugging me. It's been bugging me that there's so much attention on this at a time where I would love the attention to be on my friend Jessica. Instead, people would rather talk about things that they don't actually want to fucking talk about. And that's the funniest thing. They want to talk about this shit to people, and this is like, quote unquote, both sides again. They want to talk about this shit with people who believe what they fucking believe. They want to hear the shit they think parroted back to them. There's one place you should never go if you want to hear the shit you think said right back to you. That's to me. Don't fucking come to me and be like, Black Lives Matter, right? Or like, don't you support the police? Go fuck yourself. That's what I support. I support you going to fuck yourself immediately. I support that. Count my vote for that. Register in the census. Like, I'm sick of that. I'm sick of everyone. Anthony,
Yeah.
I'm also sick of the sound of my own voice.
Well, it's okay. I'll talk now. I don't know.
Thanks, Anthony.
I wanted to let you go. I wanted to let you go. Yeah. I think it's just more of a thing of. It's just one of those times. It was like there is an issue. It's just sad that everybody had to jump to this man's issue, to be the what's it called? I guess the match. But it's like I don't know. It's just like this was the perfect storm, and this is what I hope comes out of this perfect storm, is that because of this, like people are more into their community, they're more into who does what in terms of local to regional level politics, where it becomes a thing where it's more about the neighborhood or about the community again. It's about who you live with and who you know. Like I'm hoping that's what happens because of having to stay home for 2 months. And then not really being able to go anywhere else after the 2 months are over because it's for a lot of intents and purposes it's kind of risky to travel, like far away for a lot of people. And so I hope in these moments as this is going on that instead of just not only just marching and screaming and doing the protesting, doing the rioting, but also building that community back, being it more about not just you but about everybody else around you. And hopefully bring other people in that conversation so that way you can shape it to the future you want it to be instead of it being one of those things where it's like, we tried, but it just didn't work out. Well, now you have the perfect chance to try.
I don't like the fact that people act like it's not working out. Like it's not any better. It's some fucking bullshit. Like, now, it may not have improved at the speed you want it to. Like, especially in our microwave culture.
Yeah.
We get everything the fuck we want right now. Well, guess what, bitch? Amazon Prime can't drop off the end of racism at your front fucking door. They can't do that shit. They can't. So, in the meantime, you're going to have to forgive a bit of what you would call racism in this country and in the rest of the countries in the world. Because you will continue to encounter it until the day you die if you look for it hard enough. It's just the way things are. It's just the way things are. But they always trend toward better when it comes to things like this. Except for, in all actuality, you use the words perfect storm. Mm-hmm. Here's a dark thought. Yeah. Here's a dark thought, because I like dark thoughts. If I was this dude, this fucking asshole who kneeled on this man's neck, if I were his defense attorney, I feel like saying that I had some kind of acute xenophobia due to the pandemic, that in general had nothing to do with race, that it was difficult to humanize people after I had to make sure that I was separate from them to protect my family from them, and when a stranger was that close to me, I just wanted his face as far away from me as possible. And I got my hands in my pockets. I understand, like, there's some pictures of me that are very, very, very intense. It just shows how sick I was about that xenophobia, about being around someone who was not in my family. Months and months of this quarantine shit we've been through. Good time for that argument to be brought up. That's dark, but I like thinking about the other side.
Yeah, I mean,
and I would like to see this guy go down, right? But I still don't know what the charges are. And that in itself will enrage some people. They're like, what do you mean?
Second degree.
He's a murderer.
In the second
degree. And I'm like, I don't know that to be true.
Second degree.
I don't know I don't know if he's a murderer or not. I don't know. If in the court, they're going to have a document that says this dude died of like cardiac arrest or some shit like that. Something unrelated to him being on his neck. Something that you could argue isn't directly related to it.
Yeah.
And they tried to get this dude on murder, and he gets off. People aren't going to like that shit. You better think about your charges, motherfuckers. You better figure out exactly what you really want. Define what justice is and make sure that it is reasonable. Make sure that your justice is actually attainable before you start demanding it. Know what the fuck it is before you start asking for it as well. Because perhaps murder isn't the right thing. Maybe that's not it. Maybe you're not going to be able to get him because that's not how words and laws work. Maybe that's the thing you should think about before you start throwing that word around all over the place.
I looked this up the other day, and I wish I would have taken notes on it. So
what, the definition of second-degree murder?
Yeah, because it's not premeditated.
Ah, see, that's what I mean. So second degree is not premeditated, right? Do you just have to show some kind of gross indifference?
That is caused by offender reckless conduct that displays an obvious lack of, which is what they charge him with. That's what they charge him with.
So they may get him on second-degree murder. That's great.
Yeah, that's what they charge him with. Yeah, so he's good.
So as long as the word murder is in it, people will be happy.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Like, they bumped it up from murder.
And they're gonna hang this dude. There's no way. No matter how good his defense attorneys do, like, don't waste your money, bro. Like, don't waste your money. Don't get the best lawyer. You're gonna lose.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, dude. It's kind of tough right now because even if you do win, you're gonna lose eventually because they want to. To be fair, I haven't read the articles yet. I was gonna read them today, but to defund the police department. I don't know what that means. To a degree, I understand that it's more. I think it's less mental, from what I understood, and it's nothing. So I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, like.
No, let's talk about it because we know just as much as every motherfucker who's standing outside right now with a placard. We know just as much as every motherfucker with an opinion in a barber shop or at a restaurant. We know just as much as they do.
Hold on. No. You cannot do this today. You cannot do this. You cannot go back and forth. You cannot flip-flop on your opinions. I'm sorry. You're a politic. Only because...
What?
Because for the coronavirus, guess what we couldn't talk about for like a couple, 8 episodes. So we can't do this. We can so. No, because you can't just choose that, hey, we can't talk about the coronavirus, but we can't talk about the coronavirus, Anthony, because frankly, I see a lot of people just talking about it, and they don't understand it, they don't know what's going on, and now it's like, hey, you haven't even read the article about the defunding the police part, and you're like, let's talk about it. I'm like, no, dude, like, you can't do both.
Well, not that exact thing, but just the idea of people saying that we should defund the police, we can talk about that. People saying that is something we can talk about. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Say that again.
People saying that we as a whole, as a country, should defund the police departments is something that we can talk about. Whether or not we think defunding police to any or some degree is a good idea. We can discuss that. I don't think it's okay for us to discuss particular articles or particular intentions of certain groups, right? But we can talk about the hypothetical universe where police departments will be getting defunded.
Yeah, but I think it's like one of those things where you take the word too literal. It's like, love and chokes. It's not like we really talk about like fucking each other and then choking people till they pass out. Like, that's not
look at my shorts though. I don't know, maybe we
do. but my thought is still this though, like that's not what we do, but we should still like, we still like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I get you want to be provocative right now.
Yes.
I do understand that. But I'm like, dude, I wanted to be provocative like 2 months ago, so you can like cool your brakes there, bud.
You're like, nah, fuck this shit. You were trying to be all nice guy. Let's not do it. All right, now here's the shoot. All right. I didn't want to talk about that shit because I didn't want my roommates to feel like my opinion was way different than theirs because I didn't want them to feel unsafe. Right. And by them, I really mean Jazz.
Yeah.
I didn't want her to feel like I would, like, because my opinion is X, that I'm going to put her in a position that Y would happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was the reason I didn't want to talk about it. It wasn't really for shoot because I didn't want to talk about it. I just didn't want to be heard talking about it. That's why. So that's why we didn't talk about my fucking perhaps conspiratorial beliefs about what has happened. And I'm kidding, maybe. I don't even know anymore. To be completely frank, I don't even know what the fuck I think anymore. I've said generally what I think, that I just think it's weird that people did the lockdown without much fanfare or fucking catastrophic events. Like, I'm shocked that there were not fires in the goddamn streets.
Right.
Everywhere. Like, I'm shocked.
Well, no, like, I'm not that shocked. Wait, for Corona or for this?
For Corona. Corona. I thought when they said you can't go to work, that people were gonna be in the fucking streets. Like, what the fuck do you mean? I need to get paid on Friday. If I don't get paid on Friday, they're cutting my shit off. Like, I thought that was gonna happen. I thought people were ready to get their fucking put rocks in hands and started throwing them around like we're in Palestine. Like, I thought it was going to be like that. For real.
Well, I think, honestly, this is what I thought, and this is what kind of made it sense. Because nobody, at that time, nobody really knew who was the target demographic. If I recall correctly, I think it was, they had an idea that it was old people, but they're like, hey, if you get sick and you're around old people, or you have somebody who has those, you know, complications in their life, which is like a good majority of America because everybody's fat, like, there's a good chance that you're probably going to die. And so it was like, oh, well, you know, I would rather have my life than my wealth because, you know, because they know, nobody thought about it at the time, like, oh, hey, like, this is going to be like a massive, like, layoff of people. They're just like, it's going to go away. It's going to take, you know, a month or whatever it was. And then after, I think all that, and also you have different groups on both sides who you could look to as like, whoa, these people are really compassionate about the coronavirus right now. Like, you have like the Ohio governor, and then you have like Michigan, where you have, and then you have New York, where you have like three extremes, where you have two Democrats who are super trying to take care of it, some late, some going really extreme. Then you have a nice old Republican man who also took it as a wholesome sense. So you have a nice pieces of people to pick from for each side that kind of bring you along together for that ride. And because of that, that's the reason why, like, I don't think there was, if like every other place in the world, I don't think there was like straight like yes. It was like, I think it was either straight yes or straight no. Like, hey, like in Brazil, like, hey, I don't care that you're dying. Deal with it. This is not real. And like, for example, for like the UK or for stuff like that, it's like, oh, hey, it's so bad that my prime minister got it. Oh, this is legit. This is legit. And like, oh yeah, like these places people are dying like daily, and you have all these imagery. So it makes sense why that people stayed there where it was, because you saw from other countries like what it was like, and you're like, oh, this is why. But I think because of what happened with this guy getting his knee stepped on, it's like you open Pandora's box.
His neck.
His neck. You
his
open,
knee.
No, you put his knee on that. You put his knee on his neck. You open Pandora's box.
His knee stepped. Yeah.
You open Pandora's box, because now it gives the people a chance to, you know, do what they want to do. Now it's what you predicted, because now the worst part of it has happened. The people feel like they've been lied to, or they feel like what they did wasn't necessary, or whatever it is. There's some people who just don't have jobs. There's some people who are just pure angry, and you have a mixture of all three. And as they said on some news site somewhere, or some article somewhere, is that you have lawful people like participating in unlawful acts because now they feel like they can, and because they feel like they deserve it because of what they've gone through or what they have done for the last couple of months. So that's the reason why.
Yeah.
That's the reason why those things are happening. So you have your moment. It's happening right now. That's why I said it's the perfect storm.
Too bad it had to be about race. That makes Manson look real smart. You know, it makes Charlie look like he had some shit going.
Why? What did you say?
Well, Charlie thought that he could start the race war if he killed this fucking famous chick while she was pregnant, or he got people to do it and then blamed it on blacks.
Oh, if he got, I mean, no.
That's why Sharon Tate was murdered.
Sharon Tate, I don't even know who these people are.
Yeah, Sharon Tate was an actress who was married or dating Roman Polanski. And Charlie sent his clique over there to fucking off this bitch and make some weird shit around so they could blame it on blacks.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you right now, dude, nobody's gonna care. Like that. See,
because he thought there was a race war. No, hold on. No, he was incorrect. When he did his math, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Apparently, what you need is a global pandemic followed by a videoed a video account of the death of a black man at the hands of a police officer. Which, regardless of what you think about it, right? Like, whether it's from the range of all the way to, like, something I literally can't see, which is, like, justifiable, right? Like, he should have done that. Or, like, he enjoyed it. He wanted to do this. He woke up every day thinking, oh, when he was going to get the smiley chance to kill this guy.
Right.
Like, I don't think either of those things probably represent those two ideas represent the least amount of truth, right? But all of the people in between those two ideas and the people that had those ideas have to say that sentence is true. He died at the hands of a police officer.
Yes.
It's nothing about intent. That's just where it happened. I'm stating where a man died.
Yeah.
So, if all those things happen at the right moment in our shared history, maybe we will get a race war. And maybe it's going to be funded by white liberals. Like maybe the blacks are moving to Mississippi, Anthony.
Oh no, dude.
Maybe this is how they get it.
Oh, dude, don't do this. I've heard too many conspiracy theories. There's not even a guy named Floyd. Actually, what was it? What did they say?
Oh, this has never happened.
Not only this is
It's just-
he's like there's no his mother's already dead. Why would he scream for her? It's like
That's the wildest conspiracy theory
no, it gets worse.
he's not a real person.
He's not a real no. This name's not even Floyd. What are you guys talking about? It's like other black people saying this. It's like, oh, he's not even really named Floyd. I'm like the Floyd is a name of a barbershop.
Well, dude, there's some very, 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 very extreme conspiracy theory believing black people.
I know. It's
like
it's
like to the point where they say like wilder shit than Alex Jones.
Oh yeah,
like,
no.
They're like, no man, that ain't even no real nigga, dude. That shit ain't real.
Oh no, that person didn't talk like that. They wore a red hat.
His mama has been dead.
No, they didn't talk like
for
that.
15 years.
Darren, why are you talking like that? That's not how they talk. They talked like
that's not racist.
That's not how they talk though. They talked like how I talk, but they sounded crazy and they looked at you funny in the camera too. And they wore a red hat. I'm not saying the red hat made them crazy. I'm just saying they looked crazy when they wore while they were wearing the red hat.
That red hat had them looking crazy as fuck.
No. Well, it kind of did the way she had it on.
So there is also a big overlap between all conspiracy theory believers and Donald Trump voters.
Yes.
Like a lot of conspiracy guys are Trump guys.
Yeah.
Because he seduced them by saying he was going to quote unquote drain the swamp.
Drain the swamp. He talks about he tweets out conspiracy theorists. Like he tweets out like news sites that I've never even heard of. That like he's just like, yo, I think this is what happened.
He's like, yo, I'm on your side, conspiracy guys. I got you, nigga,
like,
dude.
And they're like,
yeah, I'm your fucking man. And they're like,
yeah,
Trump. See, I knew.
But like,
I knew he watched that shit. I watched that shit. I'm voting for him. That's how they think.
Yeah, but this is a new thing where like
you can be easily seduced like that. Come on.
There's a new thing. There's a new thing, Darren. There's no such thing as like conspiracy theorists anymore. It's Democrat or Republican conspiracy theorists. Because there's other people who have their own conspiracy that's like, this is something that the Republicans did to plant this out and take over the world, and this is something the Democrats did to stop us and take over the world. We both think they're gonna take over the world. It's pretty much how it goes. Like I had some people tell me some wild stuff over the past 2 weeks about what they thought of the coronavirus and how it was started by
George Soros. It was.
Did you
Soros?
Did you do that? Or was that just imagine that? It's also the quality. The quality's starting to drop too. Did you just whisper like it was the Republicans and then just sell it?
Oh no.
Okay. I don't know. I can't tell. Neither can the viewers because you're turning into a potato.
They're sending a bunch of stuff like that is all wild streets, and I'm just learning things about the UFC's processes for this COVID thing because I'm cornering the homegirl Jessica Evil Eye this weekend. Oh no!
Yeah, it's like you're cutting in and out, and you're kind of like frozen half the time. So I don't know what you want to do with this.
Anthony?
Yes.
How is the audio working?
Huh?
Our audio for the podcast itself, the audio entity, how is it?
I mean, the audio will be whatever the noise they hear from, like they'll hear me just fine, but they're gonna hear like how I hear you. So if you sound broken up to me, you sound broken up to
little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
This is sad, but it is near the time.
We'll just sign off. I'll sign you out because I literally have no idea what you're saying. Okay. I'm gonna take it as I don't know what you're saying. I have no idea. I hear you, Lo. Half the time, a little bit laughing.
Exactly. I'm not even talking. I love every hear my voice, even if you can't love.
I have no idea what he said, but guys, I guess he signed off. That was the end of the show. We'll have to try to figure out this episode nonsense next time.